Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shirt or Tea Tuesdays.
Hey,
It
hey,
is your
hey.
girl V. And hi, I have a special guest today, guys. I mean, some of you may already know her, but others may not, and so it's my duty to introduce to you Miss Tamika White. How are you today?
Hey, y'all. I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Trying to be a production team over here, a team of one, but we making it,
Sometimes that's how
we're
it
making it
is.
right.
Name of one.
I know. Right.
Gotta make it do
Maybe that's all you
what it
need.
do.
Yes, definitely. So I just want to say, um, my first time meeting you was, I want to say, Langston's homecoming. Uh, and I bought so many shirts from you, it was ridiculous. But I was I was just so impressed by all the different colors, and I remember asking you like, "Oh," and I was trying to read what it says. Like you guys
Mhm.
can see the shirt that she has on, and I was like, "Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really do like that." So take us back to the beginning if you can, because some people
Oh,
may be like, okay, we know about energy and all this other stuff, but take us back to the beginning of how did you create this wonderful brand?
okay. So, stories are usually never that simple.
That's
But
true.
I will say this. So, nothing but positive energy is actually my personal mantra. So, that's
Okay.
where that came from. And so, I created that mantra for myself because I was going through just some difficult and trying times. And so for me, it was a way to protect my peace. At the
Mm.
time, the environment that I was working in, anytime you're in any work environment. So I wouldn't even say that it was isolated to where I worked. Anytime you work with other individuals, you're dealing with different personalities. And so
True.
for me, it was just a way to protect my peace. Um,
Mm.
so that's where the nothing but positive energy came from. And that was way back in 2007. So when we
Oh,
fast forward, were you getting ready to ask something?
no, I just said okay. I'll wait till you get through.
Okay.
I won't forget it. Go ahead.
So fast forward to 2019, um, I actually really seriously started considering starting a nonprofit organization because of the profession that I work in. I just noticed that, which now I think the whole world knows that I work in corrections now, but um, I just noticed that we don't really have a whole lot of preventive programs for our young people.
Mm.
And so anytime you have situations where you don't have preventive programs, then young people who are high risk for being, brought into the system end up in prison. And so my thought process was to create a nonprofit so that, I could serve young people to prevent them from ever going into the system. Now, with that being said, I don't like begging for money. Like, I'm not one of those social butterflies that will go around, and start conversations with people. And so I just started thinking, what can I do to be able to raise money to fund a nonprofit? Because in my head, and it's just the ignorance, I didn't know about grants for nonprofits
Mm.
and things like that.
Mhm.
I didn't really know a whole lot about it, but I knew I wanted to do something. And so my son was actually playing football at the time and at Carl Albert. And the mothers, they always get together to create these bags for like goodie bags and different things for the players before the game.
Okay.
And so instead of providing things like Gatorade or granola bars, I wanted to do something that that would last and that would really have an impression on them. So I created wristbands that said nothing but positive energy.
Okay.
And so anyway, I mean, to make a long story short, I just basically ran with that. And I said 2019, so 2018 is actually when I created the wristband. So the year following, I said, listen, the world needs more positive energy. And
Yeah.
I had already created a wristband. I thought, well, I can put that on a t-shirt and sell it and start raising money that way. So let me just give you a disclaimer. I still have not been able to start the nonprofit, but it's still coming. It's still in the
Okay.
it's still the vision for
It's
sure.
still a vision. So, will your nonprofit be attached to Nothing But Positive Energy, or will it be something?
Yes, it's going to be a leg of Nothing But Positive Energy. Now the company is an LLC, so it is a for-profit business, but
Okay.
it will have the nonprofit component attached to it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Well, wonderful. It will come. You have a lot of things on your plate, so
I
I'm
do. I do.
trying to say that last part a little bit later, but you have a lot of things on your plate. So um give yourself some grace. Don't feel, too stressed out about everything. It's gonna come. It's gonna come, and it'll come on when it needs to come at the right time.
I appreciate it.
Definitely
Thank
the right
you.
time.
Thank you.
So in 2007, you said you just had to protect your own peace.
Hmm.
Can you explain to me, and well, not just to me, but to everyone, how important it is to protect your peace, and what does it mean by peace to you?
So, I mean, again, you don't really have to look far to see a bunch of negativity in the world. I mean, we're
Mhm.
surrounded by it. You don't even have to walk out your front door um, to be inundated with negativity, right? If you turn on
Right.
the TV, if you listen to the radio, most people have cell phones nowadays. So looking on social media, there's just a lot of negativity. It had actually gotten to a point where I stopped watching the news because if
Hmm.
you don't protect your peace, it can be very easy for that to kind of transfer into your mental, emotional, and spiritual being. And it can affect you. Um, Even though those things have nothing to do with you directly. And that's just talking about the news and social media. It can still have a very negative effect, I mean, on your body. And so the
Hmm.
mental, spiritually, and emotional that plays out and comes out in our physical body, and it really can take a toll on us. And so for me, just because of things that I had been through in the past, as a younger person growing up, I knew that the risk was too great for me not to protect my peace.
Right.
So I
Right.
had to come up with something that would allow me to be able to pull myself up when I fall down, right? We all fall down the ladder. It's just a matter of making a decision to start climbing back up the ladder. And
Ooh,
so
I
that's
like.
what Nothing But Positive Energy is all about.
I love that. I like that. Now that I hope you are listening to what she's saying, because at times we tend to forget what is the most important thing that we need to protect. Sometimes we feel like we have to protect our family, protect our loved ones, but in order for you to do all of that, you have to start with you. And and when she mentioned as far as social media and negativity, Now, this is back in 2007.
Mhm.
Now, some of you probably don't even remember what you were doing in 2007, but things have changed quite a bit
Mhm.
since 2007. And so just imagine the magnitude of negativity that's going on. I mean, cell phones is really kind of out. Everything is being recorded.
Yeah.
Every single thing. If you're dancing in public, it's probably being recorded. If you cussing somebody out in public, it's probably being recorded. So it's like at some point, when do you put a pause on hearing so much negativity?
Right.
And I think that's really important
Right. I
to
mean,
protect your peace.
and I did a video a few weeks ago about just social media and people minding their own business, because, and what I mean by that is, individually we have to mind our own business, because we get so caught up in the likes, right? we
Mm,
want we want to know how many people liked our post, or we're looking at social media and we're comparing our lives to what other people post on their pages, or somebody posts something on their page and we think that it's referring to us, right? So we internalize those things, and really what somebody else posts on their page, what somebody else's opinion is of us, is none of our business. It's none of our
mm,
business. What you think about me is none of my business. Those are your thoughts, and I'm going to let you have them, right?
right,
I
right.
don't have to prove anything to anybody. I am going to be me, um 365 days a year, right?
Right.
So so there is nothing, and I'm not saying, that we shouldn't monitor what we say and what we do, because the things that we say and do can certainly have an effect on other
Mhm.
people. But I am saying that when we mind our own business, that is a way for us to also protect our peace. When we're not so consumed about
Ooh, I like
what the outside voices have to say, or what
mm,
outside, what outsiders are doing. And so now, and you said something earlier that is very crucial, because I didn't learn it. I will be 46 tomorrow. And
Oh, well, sorry. Happy birthday. Go
thank
ahead, sorry.
you. Thank you. But it has taken me until my 40s to fully understand and appreciate the need to take care of myself. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, and not to say that men don't do this, because there are some really exceptional men out there, but women traditionally have been the backbone, right? And
Right.
so we have always had this added pressure to be the strong one, and to take care of others, because we are naturally nurturers. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we have that, we don't realize, like, it's not something that we necessarily think about on an everyday basis, but we do have that extra added pressure to hide our feelings and what we're going through, because
Mm.
so that we can be strong for everybody else, we have to take care of everybody else, and we pour into everybody else without expecting anything in return, right? So it's just like
Right.
a car. You pour gas into a car, right? You pump your gas into a car. At some point, if you don't refuel the car is going to stop working,
Right. Right.
right? And so it's the same thing with us. Even with our physical bodies, we have to nourish our bodies with, and be mindful of what we put into our bodies in the
Mm-hmm.
way of food and drink, and things of that nature. But even that, if you stop eating, if you stop feeding your body, you're eventually going to check out of here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
You're
And so
eventually gonna pass.
it's the same thing when it comes to our mental, right? What are we taking in? What types of conversations are we being involved in? Or what are we watching on TV? What type of lit music are we listening to? Those things. And I don't want anybody to misunderstand me, because I am a very, very non-judgmental person. I don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in. And I believe that we all have a story, right? So
Right.
none of
We
us
do.
none of us are perfect beings. We all have transgressions and things that we deal with personally. So this is not about judging anybody else, but I encourage people to be mindful of the things that they are taking in and consuming, whether it's mentally or whether it's physically, because it certainly has an effect on us.
Definitely. It definitely does. And when you said mind your business, we also have to mind our health. We only
Absolutely.
get one body,
That's it.
you know. And
That's it.
I tell this to my patients a lot, and I say, you can get a transplant for your heart and your lungs and your kidneys and all these other things, right? But they can't give you a mind transplant.
That's right.
That's it. You only get one.
That's it.
So you need to take care of it while you have it.
hmm
You know that old phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right. Right.
Right.
Well, and I just spent, I believe that all things happen with purpose. And I met a
Definitely.
young lady last summer who introduced me to a form of meditation called Vipassana meditation.
Okay.
And it's something that is done. I mean, they have these meditation centers all across the world. And I had never heard anything about it, but she was intrigued with the logo, right? With the design, and the slogan. And so she had approached me and started talking about her journey. And I won't mention her name, but she just talked about battling with depression. And she went to, and I don't recall who she learned about this place from, but she had went to this Vipassana center in Kaufman, Texas, and it changed her life.
Wow.
And so I immediately began, it piqued my interest. So I started doing research on it because I am a spiritual person. I wanted to make sure I'm like everybody else, right? You conspiracy theorists, and you got people, who have all these thoughts about what type of place is this. And so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that would go against my spirituality and um, my belief system, right? And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
I looked into it, and again, this was last summer when she told me about this. And anyway, I had an opportunity um, in early April to go, and I spent 10 days at this
Wow.
meditation center, and it was 10 days of 10 hours of meditation and
Whoa. 10 hours?
10 hours of meditation a day.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Talk about discipline. Okay. I'm
yes.
listening.
And it was also a vegetarian diet the entire time you're there. And
Hmm.
so, it's kind of a cleansing, if you will, right? It's
Yes.
kind of a cleansing. But the whole point of Vipassana meditation is to see things as they really are, right? So it's about your mental, and we really underestimate the power of our brains,
Hmm.
our minds. They are so powerful. And I'll just give a quick example, because you can't really explain the technique. Like, it's something you'd have to experience yourself, because everybody is different. But everything rises and passes away. That's kind of the idea, right? Everything rises and passes away. That includes pain. That includes fear. any of those things in your life, they will come, but they will eventually go away. So a very simple example would be if you stub your toe, right? We all know
Right.
if you stub your toe, it's going to be painful. But what we tend to do is we give it so much attention. We grabbing our foot. Oh my God, we cussing. We, doing our
Right.
things. And so we're giving it so much attention that the pain continues to persist. But if we acknowledge that out, like that, right? But then
Right.
focus on something different, eventually that pain is going to subside, right? And it's the same thing. So it's about controlling your mind to the point of, yes, there's going to be grief in life, right? We all have to deal with grief because we all have an expiration date, right?
True. True.
But when we actually see things as they are and fully understand that, then how long we stay in our grief, how long we stay in pain, how long we stay in disappointment and frustration is completely up to us. No one else. It's
No one.
completely up to us.
Woo. That was deep. I can't even snap with this finger, so just woo. That was deep. I don't know if you guys. Okay. I hope that you absorb what she just gave us because it speaks volumes. It really does. And I want to throw this out real quick because and I'm gonna shout out to Mr. Damien. There's a OKC chronic pain workshop this Saturday, the 29th, at Rose State College. And he is a physical therapist, and so he's focused on the holistic approach of pain and being able to manage that in a different way instead of just, the typical way that we usually do, which is pills
Did you
and all
say
this
his
other.
name is?
Damien, you know Mr. Williams? I think I said his name.
David with
Oh,
yes. Yes, I love everything that they are doing. It is amazing.
yeah,
I am definitely an advocate of their journey and what they are doing in our community. I love it. I love
definitely. Definitely. So I want to tell everybody, make sure you go. I'll put the video on here when I try to edit this later, but it's on my social media. Go. The workshop is this weekend. And I think it's from 10 to 4. It's free. So just go and support. If you know someone that's going through pain, even if it's a little bit of pain or just want to get themselves together, he's going to have all different kind of vendors and everything else. I'm not trying to make this an ad, but I just thought I would throw that in there, okay? Because she just talked about how, pain, we make pain last a little bit longer than what it needs to be, and just to redirect our mind to something else. Um, and that speaks a lot. So did you enjoy those 10 days?
it. I keep telling people it was the most difficult
Oh
yet
wow.
rewarding 10 days of my life.
Hmm.
And
Definitely.
difficult because there has not been a time since cell phones were invented and I had one that I've ever been without one. So part of the requirement is that you have zero access to the outside world. So I had no cell phone, no social media, no
Whoa.
iPad, no laptop, no anything. Um,
Oh goodness.
and I've never been unplugged from the people that I love. I've never been unplugged. Um, so it was definitely a shock to me, and very difficult. And I, you talked about giving myself some grace. Well, I had to give myself some grace because I knew the first few days, my mind was going to be all over the place, and it was for the first few
Mm-hmm.
days. Just worrying, and thinking about the people in my life that depend on me. worrying
And if
about
they okay.
work. I mean, just,
Mm-hmm.
wondering, should I have left knowing that I had recently received the promotion? It was just a lot of things that, thinking about money that I was missing because I could have been set up at several different events as a vendor with the business. And at the end of the day, I said, Tamika, you have to do this for you,
Mm,
right? And if
right.
not now, then when? Right?
Oh,
When do you make yourself a priority?
hello.
So
And so the
I
time is
would.
now.
Hmm.
And you went. And to be honest, I'll be truthful. 10 days, that would be hard for me. That would
It
that
was
would be hard for
very
me. But
difficult.
you but you were able to not retrain your mind, but like to refocus on I need to do this for me, not to be worried about everything else.
It changes the way you deal with everyday life and
Mm-hmm.
respond, how you respond to things. Um, my son was just involved in a um, car accident Sunday, and he's
Oh,
4.5 hours away from me. And I was on my way out the door to go to church, and I just hopped in my car and got on the highway and went to Texas instead. And the normal me, it, I would have reacted completely different. So I know that it certainly changed my life, and it was needed, and that's why I said, I believe that all things happen with purpose. Everything was orchestrated for me to attend that meditation course when I did,
mm-hmm.
at the time that I did, because there were things that were going to be coming that I
Right.
needed. I, I needed to be able to respond differently because there are going to be people who are watching, and I have to be mindful of that. I have a great responsibility, and it's not something that I take lightly. And so, I consider it a blessing. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have been able to do that, to have a position and have the time to be able to take off, and still receive a paycheck, which I know not everybody is in that type of position. I'm grateful that I have grown children, so I don't have to worry about their day to day care. But I do have a 10-month-old grandson now that lives with me. I have a 75-year-old mother who also lives with me, but I'm blessed that I have brothers that I was able to take her to in Kansas City so that she would
Mm-hmm.
be alone while I was gone. And so, the world, and that's another thing that, we really have to consider, is that whether we are here or not, the world continues to keep going, right? So we have to consider um, the gravity of not taking care of ourselves. Because
Right. Right.
whether we're here or not, somebody else is gonna get the job done, right?
Whether we want to or not.
Yeah, whether we think we're the only ones that can do the job, but no, I promise you that you can be replaced.
Oh, that part. Yes. I was telling someone that the other day. I said don't stress yourself up and make yourself so sick to where you can't function.
Right.
Because if something happened to you, they'll replace you before your body even really get cold. So take care of you.
And that's not even out of um disregard for you as a person, but the
Mm-hmm.
reality is that things have to continue going, right?
Yes, it does.
Things have
It
to
does.
continue going. So,
So speaking of responsibility,
mhm.
uh-oh. Hold, hold
Uh-oh.
on. Let me see. Wait, what was it that was just? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Speaking of responsibility, let me see if I can pull this up real quick because I don't know if you guys caught the hint that she mentioned a couple of times, but she has received a promotion. And when I saw it, I said, "Well, wait a minute, is that the same?" And I was looking at it just like, is that the but I want to read this part to you, okay? So, well, to you guys. So it says White has been named warden. The Black Chronicle has learned that Tamika White has been confirmed as the new warden of Mabel Bassett Correctional Center in Oklahoma. White is a graduate of Langston University and holds a master's degree in criminal justice and administration from UCO. She has over 20 years of experience in correction, with her first 7.5 years dedicated to private corrections. In 2021, she began her assignment at Mabel Bassett Correction Center as the deputy warden. She has been serving as the acting warden for several months before her official confirmation on March 29, 2023. Congratulations! That is so huge. I was like, oh my gosh. That is, I mean, that's big to me. I know people's like, okay, it's just a job. But no, you're missing the point that it's a certain type of title, a job, and then not to mention you're African American and you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can we get all those bells ringing at the same time, please? I'm so so when I'm excited for you for several different reasons. But I know that's a lot of responsibility for you, and I think, like you said earlier, it prepared you for what you were stepping into.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, going into this huge role and responsibility, your mindset is ready for whatever is coming or whatever may appear. So I applaud you for doing it. And thank you for being transparent and sharing that. Because you didn't have to share that, but I appreciate you sharing that because that is definitely an important component. Um, just taking care of us, nothing but positive energy. Do you recall that study? I'm gonna mess up the name, but there was probably one or two studies where they had plants, and the plants had the same type of light and all those things, but one room had the plants with music, and they were talking to the plants, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm talking
I
about.
do.
I'm
I
maybe just,
do. Now I don't know the
yes,
name of it, but I have heard that before. Yes.
yes, and it made a difference to how the plant grew and
Mm-hmm.
how it felt versus the other plant that didn't get much of anything, just kind of negative. It really plays a part. So, and we're just like plants. I mean, if you think
Yeah.
about it, we are just like plants. And so with coping, what is something that you like to do to help you cope? I know you've learned these 10 hours of meditation, but what else do you like to do to help you cope?
So, and I never meditated actually before going there. So it was actually my first experience. I've always wanted to either learn some form of meditation or yoga, but I always
Mm-hmm.
found a reason why I didn't have time to do those
Uh-oh.
things. And so I kind of forced myself into doing this so that I could protect my peace, right? But one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that I love to do is travel. So
Okay.
traveling is kind of one of my escapes, although I don't get to do it nearly as often as I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling is definitely one of those things. And I love being around family, my loved ones, close family and friends. I'm a very low key person. I don't, you don't see me out and about much unless it has to do with the business. And so, if I was at home and just, playing cards and dominoes, or, you know, cutting on the grill, not that I can grill, but, people that I know. But, watching a movie with my family, those types of things, that's what I enjoy doing because I'm a, you know, I'm I'm a family oriented person, and so relationships are very, very important to me. And I place a lot of value on making sure that I cultivate those relationships.
Okay. I like this. So doing things with the family,
Mm-hmm.
uh, movies and other types of things. I heard you say dominoes and
Like,
card games.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So
And
you pretty much old school like me. Like, let's play some games. Yes.
listen, my grandmother used to play bid whiz, and
Oh my gosh.
I never quite picked it up, but I'd be willing to learn. My dad was
Okay.
a chess player, so he played chess. So I did learn how to play chess. And I actually have a nephew. It's so crazy. Things always come back around in cycles. But I have a nephew who is now playing chess. So
Oh
that
wow.
that always brings me a little bit of joy. Just hearing about that. Um, I used to run track, so anything dealing with sports, like going to football games or
Oh yeah.
basketball games, going to track meets. I love that type of stuff. I mean, my kids, and they will tell you, like, I was that parent, like yelling and screaming in fans.
That's my
Ye-
baby.
Yes, yes. I'm coaching from the stands and everything, but
Oh my goodness.
I, I just love doing anything, where I'm spending time with family and loved ones.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, well that makes difference. That makes a difference. Definitely. So tell them where can they find nothing but positive energy.
So you can actually go straight to the website, which is www.nothingbutpositiveenergy.com. So you can go to the website, and I just actually revamped. I hired a company to revamp the website, so it's a lot more user friendly. You can also, well, I don't even want to say this because people that know me personally, they know they can directly just get in touch with me. But I'm trying to move away from doing that because
Oh
I
yeah.
have listen, I have three phones. I have three phones. Three.
Three phone. So
Yes.
work
And I don't
phone,
and I don't
personal phone.
sell drugs, okay?
Listen, I was about to say, is that a burner? Is that do they even have those
No.
anymore?
So, I have my personal phone, and then
Right,
I
right.
have my business phone, and then I have
Okay.
a phone for, my job. So,
Right.
they have to
Oh
they have to be able to get in contact with me 24 hours a day. So,
yes, that is true. That is true. Oh my goodness. So yeah, you have a lot to keep up. But it's good that you have someone running the website. So you want everyone to go to the website. Don't
mhm.
contact her personally because she has a lot of phones to answer. So just go to the website. She'll respond to you in
And I will
a timely
respond.
manner.
Listen, I will respond even if they directly contact me, but I am trying to streamline that. But no, I had somebody to revamp the website. I'm still managing the website. Now,
Okay.
I recently hired my sister-in-law to do some as a personal assistant. So she manages a lot of my social media, which
Okay.
helps a ton. So if you are an entrepreneur, listen, you have no idea how much having a personal assistant, somebody that can help you in that manner. I'm just going to do a shameless plug. Her name is Margot Michelle White, and her business is Pearl Solutions. Um,
Pearl Solutions.
Pearl
Okay.
Solutions, yes. And so, if you have any of those types of needs, you can definitely reach out to her to help you. She's definitely been an angel for me in the business. Just being able to do things like even today, being on this podcast, I'm horrible. When I say horrible at promoting anything that I have going on, I don't like to talk about myself. I was kind of sharing that with you. I'm just very I don't know. I like to be in the background. So this type of thing is new. I am trying to push myself to do some different things. And so I do appreciate the invitation for allowing me to be a part of this. This is something that actually, this is the first for me to actually be on something like this. So I appreciate the opportunity and the invitation, because that it opened the door for me to be able to, expand and build the brand. So I appreciate
Definitely. Definitely. You're most welcome. And so it was so worth it. I know you were nervous early, and I was like, it's just like we're just talking.
yeah.
We're having tea, but it's tea of knowledge. So
Yeah.
that's why I tell them. Some people think it's drinking tea, but that'll come in the future. So when y'all ask me what my tea tastes like, I need you to go ahead and purchase that tea, because I'm gonna get into into the future. But I do appreciate you coming on, just to be able to share about your brand, what you're doing in the community, not just with your business, but professionally. And then just also just being transparent about what's going on with you and being able to protect your peace for several years. And I just want to tell everyone that this takes discipline.
Yes.
If you ever get to a point to where you're feeling like you're trying to do it but you're not successful, don't just give up and
That's
quit.
right.
You have to keep working at it. I mean, because trust me, meditating for 10 hours, whew, that's a long time. And I'll be truthful, I do well if I get a good 20, maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Anything past that, I'm about to go to sleep. And so,
Now it wasn't 10 hours straight. It was
oh,
10 hours
I'm sorry.
total. It
Okay.
was, but we started so we woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, and our first
Oh,
meditation session started at 4:30. Yes, and then we would typically end the day between 9 and 9:30. That,
mm.
hmm
But see, remember, you don't have any phones, you're
that's
not checking
right.
email,
That's
you're not looking at the
right.
news.
That's right.
You totally focused on
You
taking care
could
of you.
you couldn't have any books. You couldn't have
No book?
no books, no writing utensils, no music, so no radio, nothing. And you can't even talk to the other participants. There were nearly 100 other um, participants, and you can't even talk
Hmm.
to them until the last day. So you are forced to look inwards. You are forced to.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
such a talker. They would kick me out. They'd be like, you gotta go. You you won't follow the rules. You keep talking. I'll be in there talking to myself, singing to myself. Girl, listen. Oh my God. But
It
it
was
but
so worth it.
I know. That's what I know. It's so worth it. I know that it was worth it, and I haven't even been, but I wasn't for sure if it was 10 hours straight or not. That's why I was like,
No,
"Is it 10
no.
hours straight?" Because that,
I
yeah.
think we all would have been in there sleep 10 hours straight meditation.
Well, I
No.
didn't know if it was, you could change it up a little bit with different, if it's like self-guided, if it's breathing, if it's stretching.
Oh.
I was going several different ways with my. Anyway, I'm gonna go and research this because I will allow my mind to go wherever it takes me, and that's not
Right,
where it's supposed to go.
right, right.
So, but I do applaud you for sharing that experience, and other people definitely need to look into that. Now, this is the last week of April, and I just want to say, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mm,
And you guys know I'm a big advocate for several things, but one thing for sure I'm a big advocate for is mental health.
yes.
So hey, if you need to go
Get
and
you a
check into this
therapist.
medication.
Get a therapist. Ain't
Okay.
nothing. Listen, it is. I am an advocate of seeking help. And that's another thing. In our community, too often, what goes on in this house stays in this house. That mentality.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you go seek any type of professional help, in the form of a counselor or therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist, that it makes you weak, or, it gives the family a black eye, or, people will label you. But I'm saying, so what? So what if they,
Come
right?
on.
You have to do what you have to do to take care of you.
That's it.
And a lot of
Bottom.
times that those comments and those types of things come from a place of ignorance, right? The lack of knowledge. And so, without knowledge, we perish.
Ooh,
So,
y'all heard that. We
yeah.
have to change it. We and I just want to say, because I don't want anyone to, because sometimes people say, well, we were raised a certain way, and we don't want to be disrespectful to our elders, and we don't want, and we're not wanting you to be disrespectful, but we also want you to look at things from a different standpoint,
Right.
because I understand you want to keep things in your house, you don't want anyone to know your business,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd rather for people to know my business and to help me so I can feel better, instead of watching me suffer in silence,
Right.
watching me, struggle, watching me just go downhill and then say, "Oh, I don't know what to do with them. Nobody could help us," but you don't want anyone to know your business. So you
But you
can't,
know what? Here's the thing.
you can't. You're right. I know
Here's
where
the
you're
thing.
about to go.
Well, because we don't want to go and talk to a professional, somebody that has been trained to
Mm-hmm.
be a great listener, right? We don't want to go to somebody like that, but we will go and air our business out on social media, or go talk to somebody that's going to put your business out in the street. And half the time, they're going to get it wrong, right? So why
Right.
not go talk to a professional that can actually give you some good guidance? Sometimes I'll tell you, as far as my therapist, half the time she didn't even really say much. I would go in there just to unload. I would just go in there to unload, and then I'm gone. We're scheduling the next appointment.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a load off of me, right? Because again, because we are so strong, we don't want to unload on loved ones, because we don't want them to have a certain perception of us, or we don't want to burden them
Right.
with what we're going through. And so we hold it in, but that's a lot more toxic and a lot more harmful to us than
Right.
going to seek professional help.
Hmm. And we also feel that people are going to judge us,
Yes.
and we're going to be, labeled or
Yes.
name called, and that's why we don't open our mouths to say anything.
And I'll refer back to what other people think of us is none of our business. Yes, they
Right.
are going to judge you. So
Hmm.
you don't have anything to prove to anybody, right? As long as you know who you are and whose you are, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. So get you some help. Don't be sitting over there at the bottom of the ladder. Make a decision. I'm just saying. We
I
don't.
know. Make a decision to help yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know, listen, because here's the thing, and I realize that people that are really dealing with mental health crisis don't always know how to help themselves. So then
Hmm.
the conversation is, if you know somebody that is dealing with those types of struggles and they don't have the resources, they don't know how to get help, we got to pay attention. We always talk about, oh, I love you this, I love you that. But do we really know what that means? Do
Mm.
people suffer in silence? You know people's mannerisms. You know when they're starting to act different. You know if they're dressing different, if they're, most of the time they put together, and the next time you see them, they hair all over their head, and looking like they just rolled out of bed. Those are signs.
Right.
And we gotta
Big
stop.
sign.
We gotta stop, being the, oh well, that ain't my business. Now, and I know that it may sound like a contradiction when I'm saying we need to mind our own business. But when I say that, I'm talking about not allowing the negativity of others to affect us, like taking that
Right.
and making that, taking ownership of that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right, it's us. But we certainly have to have each other's back.
Definitely.
We have to look out for one another. We are, every time you turn around, somebody else is passing away, and the
Mm.
next second is not promised to us. And we've seen people who, mostly the celebrities, but even in our local communities where they're like, oh my God, I just saw that person and they seem like they were okay. But did they really? Right? Because typically
Did they really?
signs
Yeah.
are there somewhere. And people think that if we mention suicide, asking people if they have suicidal ideations, that's going to push them over the edge, and that is a myth. That is not true.
Right. That's not true.
And I am not a licensed professional, so I'm just talking about from different trainings that I've gone through, and just in my own personal life, things that I've dealt with and I've seen. Yeah, so we have to look out for one another. We have to be each other's keeper.
Be each other's keeper. I
Yeah.
like that. That could be a t-shirt too. Don't steal my idea. No. Oh my goodness. Well, Miss Tamika, it has been a wonderful conversation having this discussion with you, sharing the tea with the Let's Talking, because we're teaching, advocating, listening, and gaining knowledge
Yes.
in every segment on Share the Tea Tuesdays. I know you shared your website, but you
Mhm.
are also on social media. And so, what social media channels are you on?
So I told you that I don't really do,
Oh, okay.
but but I do know that my Instagram is at nothing but positive underscore energy. So at
Okay.
nothing but positive underscore energy. And my Facebook, I think if you just look up TLW nothing but positive energy, it'll pop up.
It'll pop up.
I
Okay.
don't know what the handle is. Sorry.
It's okay. We can ask Uncle Google and he'll tell us all that we need to know.
Listen, I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. So
It's okay. You're doing very well. You're doing very well, and you're getting better, especially with your personal assistant helping out
yes.
as well. So that's a plus. But I do want to say, hopefully, I will be able to talk to you again. I know I'll see you again because I'm
Mhm.
always seeing you at some event somewhere, and I'm always buying some shirts. I'm just saying the
Don't
shirts are really
stop.
cute.
Don't stop.
Right. Don't stop. I mean, because they come in different colors.
Yes.
Let me just share this real quick. They come in different colors. And the last time she was at Langston, I forgot the lady's name that was with you, but she ripped the shirt or
Oh,
sliced the shirt and
yes.
tied it up.
Yes.
I said, oh, that's cute.
That's one of my best friends, Latanya Freeman. Listen, and she is cold. She will get you right. So
Yeah.
look her up too, Latanya Freeman. She will get you nice. Listen, it's spring and summer coming up. People gonna be out here showing their summer body. So
Hmm.
yeah, she will definitely get you hooked up. And I do want to say this before we close, because I often say, like I'm a one woman show when it comes to my business, and it's a lot involved in it. But I would be crazy to sit up here and not mention the support that I have. I'm talking about from family to friends, and my customers are, oh my goodness, my customers have been amazing. They have been amazing because even though I only have time after I leave, work, right? So in the evenings, so even when I get off here tonight, I am going to be delivering orders, but
Mm-hmm.
and then on the weekends. But I'm talking, my family and friends and my customers have been the most amazing support system for me, and they encourage me. They are the reason why I continue to keep doing what I'm doing. When I get discouraged sometimes,
Well,
they are the ones that continue to keep pushing me forward. So
definitely. Well, thank you, customers, families, and friends, and
yes,
support system. All four of them. It may have been five, but all of them that are helping to keep this legacy going. And so I encourage you guys to go out there and follow Nothing But Positive Energy on social media. Even go to her website, place an order. Next time you see her at a vendor, just tell her that V sent you over there. She'll be like, "Oh yeah, hey, I know her." But I do want to appreciate you for coming on here. And thank you so much. And many, many blessings to you on this new journey.
thank you.
Um, um, I'm not for sure of your faith base or whatever, but I just want to say I'm praying for you.
I believe
And
in God.
okay,
I believe
okay.
in God.
Yes,
We ain't gonna get off of here without saying that. I definitely believe
okay,
in God. Listen, He
okay,
done brought me this far and kept me. I will not admit.
okay. Yes. She said, "Listen, I'm not gonna."
Mm-mm,
I
mm-mm.
just wanted to be respectful. I don't want anyone to feel offended. So I just wanted to say I'm praying for your career journey, and I know you're gonna do well as always.
We are
Always.
changing the culture of corrections. Okay.
Ooh, I like that.
Yep.
Changing the culture of corrections.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
Well, we're
you.
going to hear. You're welcome. We're going to hear many other things from Tamika White. And thank you for following Share the Tea with V. Don't forget to listen to the podcast on all podcast stations, or you can just follow me on social media and catch the restream there. And don't forget to be intentional, be insightful, and definitely be impactful in everything that you do. And until next week, y'all have a good night.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, Tamika. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.